Hello, and welcome to the 2026 Holo Taco Holo Royalty event. I am your host, Yaneli, and I have here a 5-piece ensemble with mixed formulas, plus a purple holo pouch, oh my god, hair, and a minty green nail file. Now, the brand did send this collection out to me as PR. However, I'm not obligated to talk about it, post about it, create content, or do anything with it, but I do want to showcase this off to you all to see if this is something you're interested. Another thing is that this collection is limited edition, as is the case with any Holo Royalty releases. If you're new to the Holo Taco sphere, so Holo Taco has a tier system, and usually it's dependent on how much reward points you've acquired throughout the year. I think it's the year. Along with these Holo Royalty release, there's a royalty sale, and the sale mark-off is dependent on your tier. So the more money you spend on Holo Taco, the higher the discount, so on and so forth. As usual, I'll have comparisons and whatnot near the end, along with my final thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into swatches. Haha, psych, we're gonna look at the packages. So here are the cartons that the polishes come in, very plantsy, very hollow, very purple, right? And then I discovered I can put them together and it essentially rotates the cartons, but still forms a whole picture. You get, of course, the front where the hole is, the side, the back, and then the other side, and then it ends at the front. So it starts with the front, ends with the front. So freaking cool. I love it when it works out like this. And then I want to showcase the pouch that comes along if you get the bundle. So this is insanely hollow. Anyway, I did test it out to see how many polishes I can fit in, or what in general I can fit in, and I did do the 4 polishes because it had those little side pockets, and it kind of took a bit of stuff. So I would say this is a good like travel size pouch of sorts. I don't know if it's TSA friendly for traveling with liquids and whatnot, but I did do the measurements. Did I read them? No, I just lay the tape there so you can read it yourself. And then I want to showcase how incredibly hard it is to get those polishes out from the side panels. Here's my live reaction of me trying to get them out. Jesus Christ, can you get out of here? Hello? Give me the polish back. I can't take my polishes out. This bitch is on. Hello, give it back. So anyways, I want to talk about the nail file that came along with this collection. I forgot to show the back side, but on the back side of the tip where you hold it, there's little plant icons going about. And it is double-sided. It's very much a fine grit of sorts, very easy to work with. My only issue is that they are so thin, and I feel like I'm gonna break it on my thigh because I whack my crystal file clean. Now moving on to swatches, I have here the purple flake taco, and this is a clear base with purple metallic flakes going throughout. And overall, as a topper, it's nice, it's subtle. It's not like super heavy, like you could still see underneath the topper, so it doesn't obstruct whatever you decide to top with this topper. Of course, I had to test it out and how it looks in 3 coats. Overall formula of this is very easy to work with. The flakes lay down very flat, so I only did 1 coat of top coat for a smooth finish. Now what I found interesting as I was building it up to 3 coats is that eventually the clear base started getting obscured. It started giving more of a purpley tint to it. Overall removal, I used peely, so for me it was relatively easy. I highly recommend peeling or soaking it off. However, I don't think these are abrasive enough to cause any micro tears, so you could scrub it off as well. Also, why is this one not related or doesn't have a plant garden-y related name to it? It's just purple flake taco. Like, is it unloved? Hello? Next up we have Sage the Day, and this is a light green crushed holographic base with a blue shimmer going throughout. So crushed holos tend to have really good coverage, so for me I only needed 2 coats for full coverage. I would say the shade of green is being skewed just ever so slightly because of the silver aspect of the crushed holo, so it kind of gives it more of a gray leaning tone, which Sage on its own too is technically a gray green of sorts, but this one kind of gives it a more gray leaning tone. The formula is thick, and it's usually the case honestly with crushed hollows from Holo Taco. However, the self-leveling of it is very peak and the texture does dry down smooth. Also, this shade does dry matte, so with it being a hollow polish, I definitely recommend using the gloss sauce. Removal wise, I would say peely or soaking it off would be your best bet. Moving on over to Sprout of Control. This one is a purple to green thermal with green shimmers going throughout. Now, I thought I was going to be able to enjoy the purple a little bit at first, but the transition of this was quick. So you only get the purple so far on the brush. I will say the viscosity of this thermal is one of the best I've ever experienced in terms of thermals. It was not thick at all, like how previous thermals from Holo Taco were, or how thermals from Mooncat are. So if it wasn't self-evident, the cold state is purple, the warm state is that greeny blue color of sorts. And the greeny blue, I wouldn't call it 100% a green. It's very much bordering wanting to be like a seafoam color. And then what I noticed with the green shimmers is that at extreme angles, it does transition into this nice pink shade of sorts. Also, chat, is this not the Taco Bell polish? Like, the green is Baja Blast coated and the purple is the Taco Bell logo. Removal wise, I would say this would be relatively easy to remove. It's just, do you want to put up a fight with the green shimmers or not? Moving on to Keep It Evergreen, and I'm gonna keep it for real. Where's the green? I only see teal. To me, this is a green leaning teal metallic microflake polish with scattered hollow and silver reflective glitter. And there's also some shiftiness between those microflakes. It leans from green to blue, giving it that teal appearance. And at certain angles, you can't see that green aspect that allegedly is here. Now, the formula of this is very nice. I got coverage in 2 coats. However, it is of a thicker formula. I feel that I will be putting in thinner just to help it out a little bit. Removal wise, because it has reflective glitters, I don't recommend scrubbing it off. I would recommend going in with a peel off base or soaking it off and then being gentle when you do remove that soak off. Lastly, I do want to talk about overworking this polish. I highly recommend trying to keep your strokes at a minimal. I noticed that as I was doing my first and second coat that there was some form of pulling when I was continuously brushing the polish back and forth. Rounding up the polishes, I have here No Apologies, and this is the opal shade of the collection. I guess October babies rejoice. This is a lavender jelly base with iridescent flakes, pink shimmers, and scattered hollow going throughout. Now, although it is described as a jelly, I feel that it performs more like a crelly, as on the second coat it gave me very good coverage, not akin to how I've experienced some jellies perform like. However, it could be due to the amount of ingredients added to this polish, like the flakies definitely provide a lot more coverage than just the shimmer and the scattered hollow. I guess overall, I don't mind this in 2 coats. Actually, especially on my short nails, the visible nail line or VNL isn't really that prominent, but it is still there. However, not as obscene enough to where I'm like, ew, I see my nail line. So it gets a pass. Despite it being full of flakes, hollow, and shimmers, this really dried down smooth, honestly. I only needed 1 coat of top coat to get a smooth finish. Removal wise, I wouldn't even want to pick a fight. Like, I don't want to square up to these flakies and shimmers and hollow. Like, they're gonna get stuck on my surrounding skin of my nail, and that just, it's not a fun time. Formula wise, this was very easy to work with. It has a nice consistency. It is thick, but not thick to the point where it's unworkable, if that makes sense. It's adjacent to how Holo Taco cremes perform. It's very easy to work with. Self-leveling is immaculate, like 10 for 10 here. Now for different lightings, I was actually able to get some shots here, and from left to right, starting with the pinky, is No Apologies, Keep It Evergreen, Sprout of Control, Sage the Day, and the thumb has the Purple Flake Taco. So in the sun, the hollow tends to perform better, and you can see that in No Apologies, Keep It Evergreen, and a little bit in Sage the Day. Honestly, I kind of find it hard in the sunlight to see Crush Hollow, but there's that. And then I went over by my window, but was indoors, and I thought I'd give a little bit of a mix between some light and some shade of sorts. And in this lighting, the flakies and the metallics tend to perform better. The grayness of the holo tends to pop out even more when I'm fully away from the windows. So here you kind of lose the holo, right? The flakes in No Apologies, they're serving us, and honestly, I think this is where I can see the green of Keep It Evergreen better than with any light source, low-key. Alright, moving on to comparisons. As you can see, I'm not starting with the purple flake taco because I don't have anything like it to compare it to. So we're moving to Sage the Day, and for this one, I thought of comparing it to Holo Taco's Mint Mojito and Holo Taco's Bonus Life. I wanted to see the range of green with Sage the Day, and I felt that Mint Mojito was kind of closer to it than Bonus Life, but formulation-wise, they're very different. And then I started comparing it to more muted greens. So I have here Mooncat Loves Labyrinth and Mooncat's Devil's Ivy Unmagnetized. I think the tonality of Love's Labyrinth is very close, just a little bit too light of a shade. And then Devil's Ivy is just ever too dark of a shade. Now with Sage Today having a blue shimmer, it kind of does mix the green and blue a little bit, so I thought of comparing it to some blues. I have here Holo Taco's Cowboy Tears and Holo Taco's Happily Ever Aqua. I think Happily Ever Aqua seems to be the closest, however it's just more pale compared to Sage Today, and Sage Today here you can see it's more of an actual green versus a paler green slash with blue shimmer going throughout, if that makes sense. And Cowboy Tears is completely different. And then continuing on with the blues, I have here Holo Taco Spyglass and Holo Taco Sparkling Water. So on the bottle, I felt that Sage the Day and Spyglass were ironically very similar, but clearly when swatched down, you can see the complete color differences here. And interestingly enough, I think I see Sage the Day the most green when in between these two blues. And then same scenario with Sparkling Water. Like on the bottle, for some reason, it just looked slightly similar, but again, swatched out, very different. Now moving on to Sprout of Control. Now thermals are always interesting to try to find comparisons to. So right now I'm just comparing the cold state of Sprout of Control. And here I have Holo Taco's Moonlit Rodeo and Mooncat's Deadly Nightshade. Moonlit Rodeo to me seems the closest. The shade of purple is ever so slightly different. The shimmer type is different. Sprout of Control has bigger shimmers going throughout, whereas Moonlit Rodeo has finer shimmers, but they're kind of still giving that green shimmer vibe going on, right? And then Deadly Nightshade, it is a purple base, but the shimmers are very different as well. So then I started comparing it to other thermals that Holo Taco has done. First up in the cold state, I have here Holo Taco's Simply Chaotic and Holo Taco's Funny Feeling. Now Simply Chaotic is that purple flaky base, similar to how Sprout of Control is, with the exception of one, the tone of purple, and two, the ingredient mixed in. One has shimmer, the other one has flakes. Now Funny Feeling, I mainly wanted to compare it when Sprout of Control is in the warm state, because Funny Feeling turns into a yellow greeny color in the warm state. And here you can see that again they're very different. Sprout of Control has more of this really soft seafoam green type of color, whereas the other two remain in that blue teal of sorts. Then I started comparing the warm state of Sprout of Control with Mooncat's Jump Jump Bug in the cold state and Holo Taco Seafoam Home. I would say Jump Jump Bug is not far off from the warm state of Sprout of Control. It just doesn't have those shimmers, but I mean, you could just top it off if you really want to. The only problem is that Jump Jump Bug transitions into this very nice lemony color that I like, but again, very different from Sprout of Control. Seafoam Home is ever too vibrant to the warm state of Sprout of Control, so not quite. Continuing off with the warm state of Sprout of Control, I have here Holo Taco's Touch Grass and Holo Taco's Time After Time. I feel like Sprout of Control's warm state is very much in between these two with an ever so bluer lean to it. Honestly, I'm kind of interested in creating nail art with this. I think these three would make good, not peekaboo per se, but I can see it. I just don't know how to explain it. Anyway. Moving on to Keep It Evergreen, the most anticipated comparisons in my opinion, we have here Holo Taco's Teal No Lies and Holo Taco's Teal With It. Teal No Lies is more of a bluer teal, whereas Teal With It is more of that vibrant teal of sorts, like actually teal, David's tea teal of course. And Keep It Evergreen is almost in between these two, so it fills in that gap. But why is it limited edition? And then I thought of comparing it next to some greens. So I have here Holo Taco's Venetian Views and Holo Taco's Stop Bugging. Now to me, Stop Bugging is what I would categorize as evergreen, but you know, it is what it is. I would say Venetian Views is kind of the closest because Venetian Views is a teal. This is further proving the point that like Keep It Evergreen is a teal technically. And then Stop Bugging is only close to Keep It Evergreen when the shimmer aspect of evergreen turns to green. And then I thought of comparing it next to Holo Taco's Far From the Tree and Cracked Polish on Shuffle. On Shuffle is a teal jelly polish. So again, it's looking very close to how Keep It Evergreen is. Evergreen does have that blue shimmer shift going throughout, so it does alter the color that you primarily see. And then Far From the Tree is far from the teal, so not quite. And continuing on to showcasing that this could be a teal, I have here ilnp's Forever and Mooncat's Drown My Demons Unmagnetized. ilnp's Forever is technically a teal green frosted metal, like their version of it at least. And then Mooncat's Drown My Demons, it is a blue base with green shimmer predominantly. I would say Drown My Demons at certain angles is close to evergreen, but not quite. So for No Apologies, I thought of comparing it next to Holo Taco's Lavender Syrup and Holo Taco's Lo-Fi Lavender just to gauge where this falls in, because it is technically a lavender shade as well, but of course there's different shades within the lavender category, right? Formulation wise, all of these are very different. Color wise, they are also very different. Then I thought of comparing it next to ilnp's Lightwave Unmagnetized and ilnp's Scrunchie. So Lightwave predominantly because it kind of has similar properties to No Apologies, where it does have this pinky red shimmer going throughout. It just doesn't have those flakes. Tonality wise and buildability and formulation, very different. And then Scrunchie, I believe it was categorized as lavender. It could be periwinkle, I don't remember. But I was just curious how it looked next to it, and they're very different. Lastly, I have here Tyler Trinkets Group Chat Glow and Mooncat's The Diabolical Mojo Jojo. So I initially thought Group Chat Glow was going to be similar to No Apologies at the time of the teasers coming out, but I didn't realize how different the purples showed. I felt that Group Chat Glow on its own was more purple leaning, but it is a periwinkle, it's not lavender. I think the Diabolical Mojo Jojo is honestly the closest. It has a purple shimmer kind of intensifying the purple jelly base that it has, and of course there's the black flakies as well. So I guess if you miss out on the Diabolical Mojo Jojo, you could theoretically get No Apologies, and if you already have a black flaky polish or topper, then you can probably sandwich that between, since No Apologies is technically a jelly. Welcome back. How did you fare the collection? How did you feel about it? Are you going to be getting it? Are you buying anything during the loyalty sale? Let me know down in the comments and we can talk about it. Now for me, okay, so I am a fan, unfortunately I am a fan of teals and purples. However, I also know when to branch out and do different colors, you know? So the fact that the royalty collection has kind of become a what else is going to be paired with the purple, you know, is the way that I've envisioned it now. It's like, all right, yes, we get it. The masses like purple, but there's so many other color variants that we could use. And along with color variants, why is Holo Taco afraid of true greens? Or why is the customer base afraid of true greens? Why are we constantly getting teal leaning greens? I think that's probably why I kind of found Sage Today refreshing and a palette cleanser of sorts, along with the lavender purple flaky polish, because those two I feel stand out amongst this collection. Otherwise, the purple tonality is very similar here in this collection, but that's usually the case too with these royalty collections. I find that the purple tone tends to be consistent, like this royal purple or this deep purple of sorts. So having a lighter purple was kind of refreshing. And then the green, wow, we kind of have a green in this collection. The people chose a somewhat green. Wow, thank you. Oh my god. If you didn't get my tone, I'm being very sarcastic. So this collection felt very samey in the color palette. Teals and purples, teals and purples. So maybe, I don't know, let's remove purples from the royalty palettes. Let's get creative. Let's omit the one thing that's been consistent. I know purples sell, but at one point you kind of have to like slap the wrist and be like, no more purples. Let's do something more original, something different, you know? And then I just need to rip on evergreen again. What are we doing? What are we doing? How are you gonna name a polished evergreen and then not give us green, but give us like a teal with hints of green, I guess? Oh, I also want to talk about the name garden variety. So I initially took it literal. I'm like, garden variety. Okay, a variety of plants in a garden, meaning not same seas like it is in this collection. But then I started reading some of the comments under some of the Holo Taco posts or teasers for this collection, and someone made a remark akin to, it makes sense why it's called garden variety now, like very snarky like, and I'm like, well, is there a different meaning to garden variety that I don't know about? Because again, I took it literal, and so I looked it up, and on the research it notes that garden variety is ordinary, common, and I low-key feel like it, yeah, this collection is that. So yeah, good job people that voted in the survey. Let's do better next year. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and all that jazz, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.